Hi, everyone. It's your friends Anna and Mary back with another episode of the Living with Grace podcast. I'm so glad and excited to be here with you guys today. And this is going to be a really great episode, I think, because in today's episode, we're talking about celebrating your wins and why self-acknowledgement matters. We're diving into the powerful impact of recognizing your own achievements, no matter how big or small. In today's episode, you're going to learn how self-acknowledgement boosts confidence, combats negative self-talk, and builds momentum towards your goals. Again, we're so glad you're here because by the end of today's episode, you're going to discover simple ways to celebrate your progress, shift your mindset, and create lasting positive habits. So often we become so focused on the next thing or the next achievement or the outcome of what we're working on that we forget to be present to the process. And the real joy of living is in the journey, not necessarily the destination or the outcome. So if you've been struggling to appreciate your journey or find motivation, this episode is for you. So our friend Anna is here. I want to welcome Anna into the conversation. Anna, let's talk about this. Let's talk about why acknowledging your own achievements and celebrating your wins is so important.
Hi, Mary. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here today with you all because we are going to talk about something that is celebrating your small wins, your small steps, the small actions you take every day in your life. And we are going to discuss because there is a lot of research on that showing how it is important for something that it's brand new and so fascinating, which is neuroplasticity. So neuroplasticity is when the way you behave now rewires your brain. And celebrating your small wins definitely rewires your brain. There are studies that prove this. And we are able to change from the negative default brain system that we are wired because we were made to protect ourselves in the flight, freeze, and fight mode. But celebrating your small wins, taking little actions every day, definitely changes the way your brain works. And we are going to discuss that with you. And what I love about what Mary said is that there is a phrase that says, we should focus on what we can control. Otherwise, we're going to be dealing with frustration all the time. And what we can control is what we are doing right now. Our actions, celebrating our actions, and simply keeping on doing them. Because the outcome, it's outside of our control. The end result, it's outside of our control. So we should release the outcome to the universe. We should keep doing our best. We should keep celebrating ourselves, rewiring our brains, and just allowing the universe to co-create with us daily. Let's dive deep into that, Mary, because I am so excited that we can change our lives little by little and rejoicing.
Absolutely. And it's really so incredible that, it seems like a small thing, a small win, a small thing. But there's so many wonderful reasons why acknowledging your personal achievements is a key part of personal growth. And, on this podcast, that's something that we really love to talk about is personal growth, because I feel like that's, we came here to learn and grow and to live a full and meaningful life. But the thing about acknowledging your own achievements, no matter how big or small, is that the more we do it, I think the more attention it draws and the more it shows us where we have potential. It shows us where we can grow personally, where we can expand and where we can, learn new things or just get better at the skills that we're looking to learn. So
Yes, absolutely. So Tony Robbins says, I love listening to these huge people that talk about building a better life and creating the life that you deserve. So, Tony Robbins, he says, where you put your attention, where you put your focus, is where your energy goes. So definitely what Mary says, let's focus and put our attention on what we are doing daily and do what I call measured progress. When you look at your life and you reflect. And I love what Mary is saying, like, put your attention on the things you are doing daily, the repetitions you are doing daily, the small actions that are changing your life, and celebrate them, because then you are reinforcing to your brain that you get your back, that you are showing up for you, that you are able, that you are capable, that you are your friend, that you are your accountability partner. So I love that. The secret is to keep showing up and to keep celebrating the fact that you are showing up no matter what, no matter when, no matter if you want to or if you'd like to, but show up and celebrate.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, when we acknowledge our achievements and celebrate our wins, you know, it gives us more confidence, right? It builds momentum. And, you know, and so where, and as you said, where energy goes, energy flows, you know, what's the other one? I can't think of it. Where energy intensifies. Oh well. Anyway, you get the point. And where energy
Yes.
goes, energy flows, and you know, and we build positive momentum when we acknowledge our small wins. And I have to admit, so I was thinking about this podcast, and I was thinking about um, my small wins. You know, I wanted to, you know, think about wanted to invite you who is listening or watching to think about your wins. And so it was to do that, to go first. I was thinking about mine, and I'll be honest. Initially, when I first sat down, I was kind of having a hard time. I'm thinking, what have I done? You know, what have I accomplished recently? And I think part of that is that we don't spend a lot of time doing it. It's kind of goes hand in hand with the idea that if I cut myself a break, or if I, you know, show myself compassion or too much self-care, it might be, it feels indulgent, I think is what I'm trying to say. And you know, we want to keep going, you know, we want to keep the attention on the outcome, but it's so backwards, because the more we celebrate our wins and encourage ourselves by the things that we've by recognizing the things that we've accomplished, that's really what compounds our momentum and helps us to move forward. So I thought that was interesting. But one thing that did come to mind was what we podcasted about last week was walking, you know. And I thought of both of us, I mean, because you certainly inspire
Yep.
me so much with walking. But you know, walking is, you know, no matter how much you walk or how little you walk, anything that you're doing that you didn't do before is such a wonderful win. You know, that's a great win.
Yes, absolutely. So I share my walking wins daily with Mary. I want to share one win that is very important too, that I am focused and I put my energy and I put my attention, and I do it with inspired intention. I want to ask you, each one of you, that whenever you are doing something for you, see that as something that you are doing with the intention to become the person that you deserve to be, aligned with your soul. Gary Zukav says in The Seat of the Soul that our journey here is to, at each and every moment, give the next smallest step in love towards you. So I want you to focus on everything you are doing. Stop for a little bit and reflect. what you are doing for you because you love you, because you care about you, because you are building the life that you deserve. And these little things I want you to celebrate. And for this, I want to celebrate today the fact that I'm drinking my water. You know, I was a person when I was younger that I was always lazy about drinking water because I was always busy, and drinking water meant that I had to stop and go to the restroom. So, but now I don't think like that anymore. I hydrate my body because I know that it's good for my skin, for my heart, for my brain, for mental health, for my muscles, and extremely important for my kidneys. So I celebrate. I celebrate that the fact that I drink my 1 glass of water at every hour or every hour and a half. And then by the end of the day, I have drank my 2 or 3 liters of water. That is my measure for my weight. So celebrate your wins because these create positive spiral up forward momentum. And this name, I am not creating this right now. I am not making this up. It also comes from a research study from the Stanford University. Your little actions that you celebrate give you a positive forward momentum, spiraling up your energy. So yes, put your energy in a spiral up and build your life. And we celebrated our 2 small wins, and I invite you to write down a small win that you are celebrating today. There is a game called the 3 wins, and that's a game that I learned in a course that I've done with Mel Robbins. And this game says, for today, you are going to claim 3 wins. 1 win is something that you have accomplished today. I have drank my 2 glasses of water already. And you are going to claim a win that you have accomplished for the last month. I have walked my steps. And you are going to claim a win that you are going to accomplish for the next month. Because you are claiming your win, you are committing to yourself. And I am claiming that Mary and I are going to keep showing up here and doing our podcast and building friendship and connection with each one of you. So let's keep moving forward, Mary.
And that was another one of my wins, is that today, this particular podcast marks our 15th podcast. And you know what? Yeah, that's a win. We've shown up here 15 times to share whatever it is that we have to offer with others, and that's a win. That is not an easy thing to do. And so that's a win. So I loved that win.
Yes. And it is an intentional, inspired action because that came from Mary, who had a podcast before, who contacted me and said, I would like to talk to other women. I would like to build a group, a friendship, a partnership of other women through our voice and our words of building life. And here we are. Mary opened the door, celebrating Mary today, everyone.
I could not be more grateful to have found someone like you, Anna, to whom I've always loved and cared so much about, to be able to do this with. So that is the huge gift for me. It's a gift to me. But I think it's incredible so I'm sitting there thinking about those wins, the walking, and I'm thinking about our podcast. And then I thought about my social media. And this feels really strange. This is sort of a case in point. So I recently crossed over to 10,000 followers, which is no big deal.
That is awesome. 10,000 people getting better with you.
Well, so then I had to, because it felt, so I was thinking about it. And this is one of the reasons why sometimes we don't think about our wins, right? Because we're concerned that it might feel boastful, right? That it might feel egotistical. So I was like, oh, but that's not really. And then and then we start to compare, because then there are much larger accounts. But then I thought, No. You know what? When I first started that, um, I just really wanted to share healthy tips and healthy recipes and any kind of I'm a health coach, of course, and any kind of wisdom or that that I had that I could share to help other women who are aging to feel good and to look good, or whatever their goals are, feel fit for as long as we can. I just want to live while I'm alive, right? So, uh, you know, there are times when I wanted to kind of give up, or I thought, I'm not sure I'm making a difference. I mean, I'm sharing all of this because
Yes.
I'm thinking that other people have been there too. But listen, 10,000 people thought that I had something valuable enough to offer that they hit the follow button. Does it really mean a lot in the scheme of things? I don't know, but that's a win, and I'm going to take it
Yes.
as such.
And
So
you know, the win that you are celebrating of the 10,000 followers, it's a win that you have been building since you have started, since your first post. So your first post and all the daily posts are little wins that are building the result of 10,000 steps, of 10,000 steps, 10,000 followers. So that just shows to whoever is listening to us, like little actions daily with consistency, with commitment, with compassion, sometimes feeling that you are not good or that you are not making a difference. But showing up doesn't matter how you're feeling or doesn't matter if you are doubting yourself, just showing up and doing the little thing, doing the thing that is tedious and boring and hard, but it's building the result. It's building the 10,000 followers. It's building the 10,000 steps. It made you a health coach. It made me a doctor. It made someone do what they do every day, and their work is serving and their work is helping. And these are little wins day by day by day by day that build who we are, the results that we are.
they do. And I will say also that and that's something that we'll talk a little bit about or touch back on later in the podcast, but it builds resilience too, because, things like these wins that we have, they ebb and flow, walking, for instance, eating healthy, for instance, you know, through the course of time, they spiral upwards, right? But when we're looking at them closely day by day, we may not see the impact. We have days where it feels better, where we feel like we do a better job with it, and days maybe not as so much. But the overall uh, outcome is that it's a spiral up. And so my point being that uh, for instance, with my social media or whatever, I might have a post that doesn't seem to do very well, or I might have pockets where the algorithm is off, and Instagram removes followers or whatever. But do you give up? Do you stop? No, you don't. You just keep being consistent, as you said, Anna. You just keep doing what you're doing, and you build resilience and you build consistency, and you just keep showing up for you.
Yes.
So
It's like when I went through medical school, right? To become a radiologist, I had to do 10 years of training. Training. I'm not talking about before getting into medical school or after, because you have to keep doing the continuous education. But like Mary said, there are days that you are on call and that you are exhausted, but you show up. There are days that you are sick and you show up. There are days that you are being treated like a slave and you show up. And because what counts is what you are building, the knowledge, the tools, the resources, and for everything in life, it's what you are building. Life is a practice that you practice daily. Your future is what you are doing today. So you keep showing up, because by showing up and celebrating you showing up, you are building, like Mary said, resilience, strength, power, endurance, commitment. You are building something that only you can build towards you. You are building trust, and confidence in you. You are telling your brain, research proven, that you are your best friend, that you are your accountability partner. Your brain can support you. You are a safe place for you. You are building self-love and self-esteem. And this is research, Stanford University. You do one little action every day. You pause to reflect, you pause to celebrate, and like we are doing right now with Mary and the posts and the followers, you pause to reflect, you pause to celebrate. And by doing that, you are imprinting in your brain that the thought and the action and the words that you were doing and you are repeating are working, and you are valued, you are seen, you are honored, you are loved by you, by your brain. You are telling yourself that you are worthy and that you deserve what you are building for you. Yes.
Yep, for sure. And the thing that that I also love is that when you were talking about the Stanford studies and and the science really behind acknowledging your wins, is that every time you recognize yourself for your accomplishment, you release dopamine. And we've talked about dopamine, and a lot of people talk about dopamine. It's the feel-good neurotransmitter. It's the feel-good substance that lifts us up. And so every time that we take a moment to celebrate our wins or to recognize our achievements, we get a little hit of dopamine, and that is so important. It gives us the positive feedback. So I love that
Yeah.
about it. That is a real thing.
Yes. Dopamine, it's very important. Dopamine is the craving, the drive, the feel good, like Mary did, said, motivator, right? So you do something, you hit your dopamine, your brain says, I want to do that more. I want to do more of that. I want to do more of that. So keep doing it. Yes.
Instant reward, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And for those of you who want to check that, the research from the Stanford University, the celebration of a little action, one tiny action, and then celebrating it. It's called celebration blitz. Blitz. Yeah.
Wow.
Say it with your accent, Mary, because it's easy.
Blitz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Celebration blitz. We got you, Anna.
Yeah. Oh man.
But yeah, and I think you already touched on the idea that it boosts confidence when we acknowledge ourselves. So it helps us to believe in ourselves. You talked about that. You talked about this before, in terms of how you show up for yourself, and you basically, it reinforces the idea that you are your accountability partner, you have your back, you can trust yourself, that you are there for yourself, you're showing up, all of those things, it just reinforces that. Also
Yeah.
reinforce positive habits, when you acknowledge your wins, because again, it's expansive. It allows for more of that to show up in your life. So
Yeah. And again, like Mary said, it reinforces it makes your habits stick better, because when you are celebrating your wins, you are doing the dopamine hit. So then your brain feels like, oh, I like this new action. I like this new word. I like this new behavior. It makes me feel good. Let's keep doing it, Anna. Let's keep doing you, everyone. Yes. And
and
that's the neuroscience behind it.
and it's so important to understand that, and so that when you're tempted not to acknowledge yourself, that you understand just how positive that is and how reinforcing it is. And the other thing I love about this, about acknowledging your accomplishments and celebrating your wins, is that it helps you to combat negative self-talk. Again, we're so focused on what it is that we're either missing, or what we're not doing, or, again, with ever, if we're trying to get to 10,000 steps and we've gotten to 5,000 when we weren't really walking 2 months ago or whatever time frame. And now we're at 5,000, but we're like, no, we got to be at 10,000, you know? And so it's easy to do that. But when we're concentrating on the positive aspect of what we're doing, we are crowding out that negative self-talk. And
Yeah.
the same is true for perfectionism, right? Because, and I'm prone to this, I, I like things the way I like them, but a lot of times if we are prone to being, to concentrating on what we want things to look like and maybe the fact that they're not perfect, then we're missing such an opportunity. We're missing the positive aspects of what's going on. When we recognize the small incremental successes, we make it easier to embrace that imperfection, right? We understand that that's been part of the process. And this is the thing that I've come to really embrace, probably more so, or especially recently, is that all of it, the imperfections, the little, the dance back and forth, that's all part of the journey. That's all part of the journey. That is the special part of the journey. That's what makes life. That is what makes life life, and that is where the joy is. So, um, perfectionism, acknowledging your wins, helps you to embrace all of the journey and not just focus on the imperfections.
Yes, helps us to embrace that we are humans, right? That we are flaws, that we are fragile, that we are frail sometimes, but also what I like is from Maya Angelou when she says, doing your best and having compassion to you that you are doing your best and you're going to do different when you know better. But at that moment, at right now, you are doing your best with the knowledge you have. And I love the phrase, we are perfectly imperfect and imperfectly perfect. And we are exactly where we are supposed to be. But what I wanted to bring up to something that I was reading the other day, because I have a tendency of being A plus, and I have a tendency of want to do everything perfect. And because of that, sometimes I procrastinate because I don't think I'm going to do it and not good enough, right? So what I was reading that really like mesmerized me is that procrastination and perfectionism are almost like siblings, you know? They both are coping defense mechanisms, and they both are based like on the fact that we want to be loved. We want to do something perfect, and we take time to do something because we believe that only if it's perfect, we are going to be seen, honored, loved, and valued. And I loved that because this paper was saying that perfectionism and perfectionism and procrastination lead you to the defense mechanism. So the brain default mechanism would be flight, fight, or freeze. And procrastination and perfectionism puts you in the freeze state where you don't do anything. You are feeling stuck because you believe that only if you do better or if you are enough that you are going to be loved. So what I invite you and what Mary is saying is that progress is way better than perfection. You can do mistakes. You can believe that you are a failure because whatever is happening at that moment that feels like a mistake or that feels like a failure, they are not defining you. Because as soon as you stop to celebrate the mere fact that you got out of your bed and you showed up, as soon as you stop, that's when you can do the measured progress. And you can get the failure or the mistake or what has not worked well and just like shift, right? Just use as a lesson, as a path, as a step, as a roadblock in the foundation of the life that you deserve. Because whatever is not working well, you just have to readjust. You just have to refocus. You just have to rearrange and reset. So I love that because then you can celebrate the fact that you are able, you are in control of the action of changing, of readjusting, resetting, refocusing. And I love what Mary said too, because when you release the outcome because the outcome is not under your control, you have the power, and it is only yours and all yours to do whatever you want with the lessons you are getting from your life, right? And by doing that, you tell your brain, you calm down your brain, you decrease the stress, you get out of the freeze mode and you start moving forward, right? And by that, immediately a different brain circuit is done where you become your safe place, where you feel contentment, where you feel calm, where you feel confident. And only in this calm, confident, content space is when you can really like flourish, right? And then you can build the life you need and you want and you deserve. Yes.
It's true. I love that. It absolutely is so true. And another thing that kind of goes along with what you were saying is imposter syndrome. So people who have struggled with imposter syndrome, we've talked about this before, and I think it's so common and it's so easy to do when you find yourself in a situation with other people who seem really accomplished, and there you are or whatever. But the thing about acknowledging your wins helps you to combat imposter syndrome, because it serves as a reminder that, hey, I'm good at this, that I am competent, that I've done this before. And while I'm mentioning that, the thing about that I love about that too is that when we acknowledge a win that we've won at before, that we've had a win, and maybe it feels as if we're not right there at that moment. But if we won, we've accomplished it once, we can accomplish it again. So I think it serves to remind us that wherever we are, we're okay, that we're competent, that we can do this again. That we again, it probably speaks really to resilience. That if we did it before, we can do it again. And it's a really optimistic way to look at it and to feel about it.
Yes, I love what you said. I have done it. I have done it before. I can do it again.
Exactly.
Because on that, I go back to the measured progress, right? When I am feeling like I am stumbling, that I am not moving forward, that I'm not getting out of the same place over and over and over again. That's the story I'm telling myself. And if I keep telling myself I am not capable and I am not enough, guess what? I'm not going to be capable because I am not enough, right? But when you look behind and you see one only victory you had, and then you say, I've done this before, I can do that again. You start telling yourself a different story. You start telling yourself, I've done this before and I can do this again. And guess what? You're going to be able to do the measured progress and look at what happened that made you succeed. And then you can repeat that. You can plan, you can schedule, you can execute, you can celebrate because you have done this before and you are going to do this again. And your story is rewiring, is reframing the way you believe in yourself and the way you believe you can show up in this life. It will allow you to say yes to you and to say yes to your life.
Exactly. And what that reminds me of is the saying that whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. All right. So
Yeah.
but that helps you to remember, oh, wait, I can, because I've proven this before. So, when you have those moments that tell that you tell yourself, I can't do that, then you can back up and then remember that what you've accomplished, um, and and then remind yourself that you can do it. And whether you tell yourself, or whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're always going to be right. The universe is always going to give you the evidence that you seek, that you believe.
Yeah. And your story, what you tell yourself, is the major determinant of whether you're going to achieve what you want or not. So, of whether you're going to put the energy and do it or not. Because again, where you put your attention and where you put your energy, your focus is where your energy goes. So, if you're telling yourself you can do it, your energy is going to be the energy of doing and winning. And in that point, when your energy and the story you tell yourself is different, the good thing is again, who is in control? You. You are in control because you are telling a different story. You are saying different words to you, and words have power. You are doing your best. You are putting action. You are moving forward. And you start believing, which I love this phrase too, that everything that is happening in your life, it's for you and not to you. That the universe, God, the higher power, the creator, is bringing to you everything that you need to succeed. And you just have to tap into your power and tap into the abundance of the universe and celebrate. Always, always celebrate. And celebrating you is like dancing, a music, a long bath, a walk, candles, flowers, a massage, a hug, or simply something so simple that I recently learned. You can just stop in front of your mirror and look into your eyes. But definitely lock your eyes into your eyes.
Mm.
Just lock your eyes in yourself and see the person that you are, because and accept the person that you are, because even if you look like me and I look in the mirror and I feel like I could be a little bit less heavy, I could lose 10 pounds, that's okay. Go to the power of yet. I haven't lost that 10 pounds yet, but the person I'm looking in the mirror is showing up, and I am grateful, and I celebrate myself. And I do what the another research study says. You can just put your hands in your heart and just tell yourself, you are safe, I am loved, I am okay. Or you can high five yourself in silence. It seems silly, but it has been proven in research studies that just by looking in your eyes for 1 minute or 30 seconds in the morning in your mirror and before you start the day and high-fiving yourself saying, I gotcha, in your brain, you don't need to say it out loud. The high five is I got you expression, right? It changes the mood for your day. It changes the energy for your day. And what is a high five in the mirror? It's celebrating yourself.
It's already acknowledging the fact that you're winning, that you won, that you're going to have wins. You're
Yes.
setting your expectations that I am going to have wins today. And that's what I love about this whole thing, is that it creates this momentum. Again, it's expansive. When you sit down and you begin to think of your wins, and I really invite anyone who's listening and watching to make this a practice, because I have found in preparing for this podcast, the more I began to think about my small wins, the more momentum it created. And I think that's wonderful. So if I dare say, you almost get into like a dopamine loop, because I'm
Yes.
thinking about a win, I get a dopamine rush. I think about another win, I build momentum, I get a dopamine hit. It just creates this upward spiral, as you said. I'm just going to keep coming back to that because I love that. The spiral up is a beautiful image in my mind, and it's so true. So
And when you are spiraling up, what you are doing, it's also that you are elevating the energy of your own spirit, of your own soul. And the more you vibrate in a higher energy, the more you are opened to everything that is around you, that it's supposed to be a blessing for you. because you're going to be allowing, you're going to be with open arms, with open heart, celebrating the higher energy that you are building for something as simple as trying to look in the mirror and high five yourself every day in the morning. 3 seconds, high five, done, you know? And even if it's not intentional, even if you believe it's dumb, even if you feel like it's silly, try it. I promise you, the Stanford University said that it works. And it works because I'm doing it.
I think it's a wonderful habit and a great way to kind of release resistance. You can feel like the resistance fading toward having a good day and building momentum. So,
Yes.
I love everything about that.
And you know what? Especially for those of you, because I've been there and I deal with this sometimes yet, especially for those of you who deal with depression, low energy, suicidal ideation. For those of you that when the alarm rings on your phone, you just put your hands on your head and feel like, oh no, I just want to keep sleeping. I just don't want to get up. I just don't want to do this day. Get up. Stop in front of your mirror and high five yourself. Do you know why? Because you got up, because you got out of your
That's a
bed.
win.
Exactly. You got out of your bed and you decided that this is one more day that you are going to do your best.
Awesome. I love it. So let's talk about practical ways to celebrate your wins. Again, just beginning to sit down, take a moment to reflect and identify them. That's the first step, and if you're met with resistance the way I was, give yourself a few minutes, because I promise they will begin to trickle in, and then they will go boom, boom, boom. You'll begin to think of more and more, and it'll come easier for you. So
Mhm.
identify your wins is a good way to start, and uh, you know, whatever that looks like for you. We've touched on several different ones. I mean, whatever, getting out of bed is a win if you're having a rough time, or even not. Sometimes people just don't like getting out of bed. Who does, right?
Yes.
Warm and cozy. But walking, if you're in a good walking group, celebrating that win. Eating well, if you ate well the day before, celebrate that win. Just begin to think about them. Maybe keep a win journal, a little, just write down whenever you think of one throughout the day, just write it down.
Anything that worked well, anything that worked well is a win. And guess what? The things that didn't go well, but you recognize them and you reflect on them is also a win because you are learning from them.
It's an opportunity, right? It's an
Yes?
opportunity. So, all right.
Music, dancing, like I said, having flowers in your house if you like them, taking care of your yard and candles. I love my warm shower at night to go to bed. And I love my super freezing cold shower in the morning to give me energy.
I'm not there with you.
I know that. I said that just to tease her.
I would rather do a cold plunge than a cold shower. I can't
Yes,
do that. It's like, I don't know, but I love that you do. I love that
yes,
you do. And I
yes.
think of you sometimes when I'm thinking I should turn that dial real fast. But yes, that is a win. That is a really awesome win. Um, so yeah,
Anything that you like doing, like Mary said, you could be journaling. You could buy a book of coloring and coloring one thing at a time, reading, anything that feels like I deserve that. Sitting outside and practicing the five senses, yes.
yeah. So, also celebrating your wins, again, we touched on some of the challenges that the resistance you might have toward it, the idea that it feels like you're patting yourself on the back, or that you're boasting to yourself, or that you have a mental block. It's important for you to remember and to cheer yourself on, and to show up for yourself. Anna talked about that being an accountability partner, and in and how meaningful it is that you're showing up for you and that you have this. Your self-efficacy, that is so huge and so meaningful. So, those are some of the challenges that you can with awareness overcome. So I think that that's really important.
Yes. And you feel like it's difficult, and if you feel like it's difficult to celebrate yourself, like Mary said, because you feel like you are bragging, so just talk to yourself as if you are a third person. Like many times, and that's research proven too. You can just say, Anna, I'm showing the example. I can tell myself, Anna, you did a great job. Anna, that report was amazing. Anna, I really liked that post. Anna, you got the 10,000 steps. So just by talking to you as if you are a third person, as if you are your best friend, because you're supposed to be your best friend, it is also celebrating and might make things easier, at least in the beginning, at least to get used to be your own cheerleader, right?
And always with compassion, self-compassion, celebrating what you achieved, and also where you're still trying or you fell short perhaps. Self-compassion, you tried really hard, Mary. I'm really proud of you. That was a really good post. You did it was really important to you. Good for you. So acknowledge your self validation, not looking for the external validation, understanding that, what's important to you and celebrating that win, even if you don't get the external validation, I think is so important. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Because that definitely rewires your brain. And when you do that, you are, again, let's talk about the neurotransmitters that you are releasing, right? You are releasing the dopamine. You are having the hit of the feel good, the drive, the energy, the motivation, and the keep doing, sticking habits. And also, you are having releases of endorphins that calm you down. You are activating your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the vagus nerve, the calm down, the peaceful, the safety, the belonging, the acceptance feeling. And that will come from you to you, which is so very important because we only can give what we have. So if you overflow and you fill your cup with love and acceptance and belong and calm and confidence, you can go out there and just be overflowing and be a ripple effect in everywhere you go and to everyone you touch. So it's very important. It's dopamine and it's calmness and grounding and being your anchor. You're going to be your anchor, and then you could be much more helpful to you and of service to others as well.
People in your life that you love, that you want to be there for and show up there for. So
Yes.
So I feel like we're beginning to kind of wrap up. That was a little bit of a summary that you just gave a bit, and I'm going to ask you for more, but I just kind of want to touch on the idea that we've talked about how acknowledging your personal achievements is important. It shows you where your strengths are, and where your potential is, and it gives you the confidence to keep going. We talked, Anna just summarized about the dopamine release and how important that is, and how it boosts your confidence, and that it reinforces positive habits, creates momentum. We talked about how it reduces negative talk, negative self-talk, or thought.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
It worked.
how it can help you to break the perfectionism cycle, and how it can help you to combat imposter syndrome. So again, builds momentum, it shows you where your strengths are, and also builds resilience also. So
Yes.
Anna, what would you like to add to that in terms of summarizing what we
I believe you summarized very well. I just like the celebration practice to you because it allows you to change your mindset from the all or nothing and from the lose or win to the mindset of doing now and releasing the outcome and building life step by step by step. And I like the fact that there are basic needs that all of us as humans need, which is to be seen, to be loved, to be honored, to be heard, to be valued. And when you celebrate yourself, you are building in yourself the foundation that gives you and supplies to you all these basic needs. You become your own source and of love, unconditional love, love from the universe, love from the creator, the God, the higher power, your soul. So you supply your basic needs. And when you go outside in the world, you are much more whole, right? You are much more exactly who you are supposed to be, like soul, aligned with your soul and your spirit. And I love one phrase from Paulo Coelho. He is a Brazilian writer, but he has many books in all different languages. And he wrote something that says, change your life. Start slowly. Direction is more important than speed. So what I like about that is start slowly, plan, schedule, make yourself a priority. Small, little actions, day by day by day. Repetition, commitment, consistency, compassion, celebration. You stick the habit, you lock the habit, you catch your brain, and you make yourself safe and sacred to yourself. Direction is more important than speed. It's not about doing everything, it's about doing what feels right in your heart. Like Zukav says, small steps in love to you and celebrating, because when you love yourself, nothing else really matters, right?
I love that direction. It's all about direction, and it's all about the journey and not the destination. Those two kind of feel like they're simpatico. They feel like they go hand in hand. And I love that. Thank you for sharing that quote. And I did not know that Paulo Coelho was Brazilian. So I love knowing that too.
Yes.
So as we leave you, I would love to invite you all who are listening or watching to identify and celebrate one win today, no matter how small, and share it with someone. Share it with us. You can tag us on social media, but share it with someone. Tell someone about your win. And I also want to encourage and invite you to think about something that a win that you're looking forward to achieving, or an accomplishment that you're looking forward to achieving, and think about how you would like to reward yourself, maybe with something with self-love and self-care. So reward yourself however that looks like. Challenge yourself to find those wins and acknowledge those. And I want to acknowledge you for being here with us today, for taking the time to push the play button and spend time acknowledging your wins, because it's so important. And we acknowledge you. It's a win that you're here with us today, and we want to say thank you.
Yes. And I want to invite each one of you again to try the high-fiving yourself in the mirror, to try talking to yourself as if it's a third person, to try the 3 wins game, to try journaling your wins, and just enjoy and rejoice and live the life that you deserve by living
with grace. And on that note, we will say goodbye for now, but we will be back next week with another episode, and we hope you'll join us then. Until then, also hit the subscribe button, give us some feedback. We'd love to hear from you. And again, take good care of you, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.